And again, I'd like to welcome you all to today's advanced training, which will be covering apps for history. And I hope you all enjoyed today's session. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual help, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. We should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters, as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see me or hear me or see the screen, please let me know in the chat and I would appreciate that. And let's just make sure our TVs and cell phones are silenced to the best of our abilities to give others, but especially ourselves, the most immersive experience, okay? To keep our meetings organized and have some kind of etiquette and allow everyone the chance to speak, I just ask if you ever have a question, comment, concern, reaction, anything you'd like to share, you raise your hand in Zoom. You do that by tapping more at the top right of Zoom, okay? And then you can see raise hand. So I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand. So I know you're here, you're ready to learn, you're present, that you're gonna have a great day, a great weekend, that you're ready for all the learning and exploration today. As you all know, I'll be taking a trip to Papua New Guinea and we're doing our Zoom background module this afternoon. So lots of exciting and fun sessions today. So thank you. Wow, lucky number 13. Thank you, Diane. You all so much for more than half of you all for sharing your hands or raising your hands. I really appreciate that. At the end, we definitely have our overview and discussion where, you all be able to share what you thought of today's session and what you learned. And throughout the session, I may ask you to raise your hand if done something, seen something, etc. So please keep that in mind, but I really appreciate your participation. You can lower your hands by hitting lower at the bottom. So don't forget to lower your hand because, in real life, even, I would get real tired of keeping my hand up. So just keep that in mind, okay? So thank you so much. We still have one hand up, but that's okay. Don't forget to lower your hand, all right? Additionally, if you want to communicate with others non-verbally, the chat is a great way to share a greeting like a hello or, well, happy belated to whoever's birthday it was, etc. You can say, hope you have a great weekend, hope you have a great day, happy Friday, happy Good Friday, happy World Marble Day. The more you know, you can put your question in the chat, you can put your congrats, you can, share a lot of info and, your greetings and any information or quotes, anything you like to share. You tap more at the top right of Zoom, and then you're going to hit chat. On your end, the chat will be the first one, okay? At the bottom, it says tap here to chat. So you tap on that box. So that way the keyboard comes up, because again, we learned in module 5 this week that the keyboard only comes up when you are about to type something in like a field or a box, something of that nature. So yeah, once you have the keyboard up, you can send your greetings. So I'm going to send a simple hello, and I'm going to add some emojis. So I'll find those, if you took a look at today's daily email, you noticed I used some circles for the emojis. So I'm going to do the same here. Hello, because it's World Marble Day. And it's also a happy Good Friday. And I know Easter is on Sunday, so I hope you all enjoy your Easter. And then it'll be April 1st on Monday. Oh my goodness, a fourth of the year is gone. I mean, that's amazing, right? So I'm gonna say I hope everyone has a great weekend. So, everyone types in a different way, but whatever is easiest for you. I'm just using one hand right now. And then I'm gonna put some, let's see, find some nature emojis, put some flowers and some sun, and I'm gonna hit this blue button on the right to then send it. You can even send a picture, right? And us being our advanced session, I always say you guys are the creme de la creme, sending a picture is so fun in Zoom. You can hit the plus sign on the left-hand side of Tap Here to Chat, and then hit photo. And then you can add in any photo from your Photos app that you like. So again, this was a picture from my Wikipedia training a couple of weeks ago. And once you tap on it and hit the send button, it's sent to everyone in the chat. And what's really cool is you can either tap on the photo and hit these three dots at the bottom right, and then hit save image if you want to save it or copy it and paste it somewhere if you want. Or you can even hold onto the picture while you're in the chat, and then you see it says save image, but you can even reply too. So let me see this image that Mr. Harold put in. Teach them who they are before society teaches them. I know that's right, Mr. Harold. So I'm gonna hold that image and then hit reply. And then I'm going to put, let's see. I wish I had a thumbs up. Let me find that one. There's so many different options, right? So here, I'll put this one. Yeah, happy Good Friday. Yeah, so please make sure to share a chat, just to say your hello, but also just to practice this feature of Zoom, because it's really important to share, a question. I can read the chat while we have our session. So this is just a great way to put your thoughts on paper, as they say, but on your iPad. And that way, well, I can address any chats that I receive um, in the meeting chat. So happy Good Friday. Brenda, I need me to go. I hope everyone happy Friday. Thank you. Happy Good Friday. Yep. Happy Easter. Thank you. Happy belated. This is surely a great day. I hope this pad will be good to me this day, because when the pad fails, it makes me miss. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Thomas. I got you, right? So I know you had some things going on. So thank you for your patience and for you getting on to today's session. And thank you to all those that shared a message or a picture in the chat. It certainly put a smile on my face, so I hope it did the same for you all as well. But please continue to utilize the chat, not just during today's session, but every Zoom session that you attend, okay? Also in the chat, I would love if you could share what was your favorite session or sessions this week and why. As you all know, we host about 15 sessions a week. So there's many different things that were presented, like our guests and our advanced trainings, our lunch clubs, etc. So please share what was your favorite. I personally really loved our Tuesday and Thursday guests. On Tuesday, you guys learned how to get the resources available to reach your goals. And yesterday, y'all learned about how you could potentially save some money through solar yesterday. So it's, I hope you all enjoyed those guests, but I enjoyed our book experience. We talked about different genres, and you all picked out the genre we'll be reading for next week. And I did, in fact, find a wonderful book that I think you all will like, that we will start next Wednesday. But there is so many different sessions this week that had a lot to offer. So please share what you thought was your favorite, and we would all appreciate that. So today we'll be covering what is historiography and the importance of and benefits of learning history. We'll be covering 3 apps today: the history of everything, today in history, and history quiz and trivia. So some information, but also a trivia game at the end. So please be ready to assist and have fun with going over some trivia questions, but also I hope you all take advantage of the apps that we covered today. Last but certainly not least is our overview and discussion, where of course you can ask me any questions that you may have, or if you want me to go over anything. But I also have some questions for you all where we talk about how learning history can positively impact our daily lives. So without further ado, I hope you all enjoy, and let's go ahead and get started. So what is historiography? That's a tongue twister, right? Historiography refers to the study of the methods, theories, and principles used in historical research and writing. It is the examination of how history has been studied, interpreted, and written by historians throughout time. So it's the study of history, right? This process involves analyzing aspects of historical inquiry, like the selection of information or the evaluation of sources, because you can have things like primary sources, things that were created within that, within that time frame, or secondary sources where those are items that were created afterwards and were written about. All right. So historians have to think of which ones to utilize to paint the best picture of what had happened, right? Interpretation of evidence, construction of narratives, etc. So there are many different things that involve the overview of different things that are uncovered in history. It explores the ways in which historians have approached different circumstances as well as underlying assumptions and biases that have influenced their work. Because, as humans, we're all going to have a bias in one way or another. So again, the study of history allows us to really cut that bias as much as we can. And again, just try to paint history as it happened, not in the way that, folks in our time wanted it to happen in a way. You know what I'm saying? So, this is a quite important field to have our history go on and on. The origins of history, or, actually people, recorded different things, can be traced back to ancient civilizations, such as ancient Mesopotamia and Egypt, where scribes recorded important events and chronicles, and also in ancient Greece, where the historians like Herodotus and Thucydides pioneered the practice of critical inquiry and narrative storytelling in historical writing. Throughout the centuries, different cultures and civilizations developed their own historical traditions, often influenced by religious or political factors. So even back then, people were still, or people actually had the mind to actually record different things that were going on, and they understood the importance of writing things down as it happened, to have it history. Because again, like I said in the beginning, history tends to repeat itself. So, we might as well learn it now, so we'll be better prepared for the future. And specifically, March, this is our last session in March together this year. So again, just wanted to highlight, specifically Women's History Month, which is again observed in March in the United States annually, which is dedicated to celebrating and recognizing the contributions and recognizing the achievements of women throughout history. It highlights the accomplishments of women in various fields such as politics, science, literature, art, and social activism. The month also serves as a reminder of the ongoing struggle for gender equality and women's rights. Each year, Women's History Month has a specific theme focusing on different aspects of women's history and empowerment. The 2024 theme, Women Who Advocate for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, recognizes women's advocacy as the source of societal changes that have expanded possibilities and moved history forward. So in this presentation, I don't specifically have a Women's History Month app or Women's History app, but certainly searching the App Store will probably tend to find some apps that would be useful in learning more about specific women or Women's History Month, and we can certainly showcase that later on in the session. So this video, which then we will talk about for a few minutes or so, is why I study history. So again, we did cover a little bit about, the reasons why people do it, but again, hearing from another perspective, or, someone who's in that field, really gives a different point of view on this question. So I hope you all enjoy. And again, afterwards, if you want to respond to this video or anything that he said, please raise your hand in Zoom.
Why study history? Ironically, this question is as old as history. 2,500 years ago, Thucydides, the great chronicler of the Peloponnesian Wars between Athens and Sparta, and the man many call the first historian, said that I have written my work not to win the applause of the moment, but as a possession for all time. Thucydides hoped that what he was writing would help future generations understand what transpired in his day. If they could learn from it and make better decisions, his efforts would not be in vain. More than 2 millennia later, the American social thinker George Santayana said much the same thing. Those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it. But while knowledge of the past is a prerequisite to wisdom, it doesn't give the historian a crystal ball. We must be modest in our claim. Studying history provides an invaluable guide, but only a guide, to current and future political, economic, military, and cultural challenges. Just as it is dangerous to be ignorant of past events, so too is equally risky to assume that history across time and space will repeat itself in exactly the same fashion. It never does. Still, with a proper caution, studying history can warn us of dangers ahead. For example, across the ages, appeasing or ignoring enemies has rarely proven to be a prudent strategy. Usually it's disastrous. The Greek city-state's coddling of the Macedonian king Philip II, the weak Western democracy's reaction to the aggression of Adolf Hitler in the 1930s, and the indifference shown to the dangers of radical Islam by an affluent West in the 1990s make this point. There is another perhaps less recognized value in studying history. Every generation, none more than our own, suffers from a pernicious presentism, the arrogance that those now alive have created the most prosperous period in history. The result is that too often we judge a materially poorer past by the same contemporary standards of an affluent and leisured present. Those who study history can avoid these fallacies. Aside from the fact that the present is the beneficiary of the accumulated intellectual, moral, and scientific contributions of the past, proper knowledge of the hardship of prior ages teaches us the value of humility. To take just one possible example, it might be an easy thing to chronicle what seems to us prejudices recorded among the Wagoneers on the Oregon Trail in the 1840s. It is quite another to imagine how the trailblazers struggled to survive one more day in an age without effective medicines, labor-saving machines, or adequate shelter. Studying history also confers much-needed perspective. It's neither fair nor wise to attempt to apply the moral standards of today to, say, the far more deadly 17th century, when life, in the words of English philosopher Thomas Hobbes, was solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. The COVID-19 pandemic seems to many like a public health crisis without precedent until we take time to learn of the global outbreak of the H1N1 influenza virus in 1918. The Spanish flu killed nearly 600,000 Americans in a nation of 100 million, with a worldwide toll of perhaps 50 million dead. And yet our nation and planet survived and learned from it. One of the ways that I used to endure the tedium, dust, and noise of tractor driving was to remember that my farming grandfather covered the same ground with a team of horses. It took him 2 days of back-breaking labor to cultivate 4 acres of land. I could do it in an hour, sitting down. But while technology improves, human nature does not. That means we have, if we bother to look, a timeless connection to those who went before us. Their struggle to make sense of life is our struggle. In this regard, there's still much to learn from King David, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, or Elizabeth I. And we can draw strength and courage when all seems lost from inspirational figures like George Washington, Frederick Douglass, or the Wright brothers. Finally, the study of history teaches to value caution over certainty. We should avoid making judgments about who's good and who's bad as if we were watching a morality tale in the present. Major historical players like Julius Caesar, Robert E. Lee, and Napoleon were complex men who at points in their lives did some good things. That these efforts ultimately led to bad outcomes, made far worse by their own outsized talents, is one of the many tragedies of history. So why study history? Nobel Prize-winning American novelist William Faulkner summed it up as well as anyone. The past is not dead. In fact, it's not even past. I'm Victor Davis Hanson, senior historian at the Hoover Institution at Stanford for Prager University. Thank you for watching this video.
Wow, that was quite interesting to think about, right? He said a lot of gems in that video. I think one thing that he mentioned was talking about history and perspective. We can't really look at history through like this current world point of view because, life was different back then, different circumstances. And I think, that's a really good point, just to kind of have a more holistic view of the time and just being more considerate of what was going on around. Also, the point where he said it took his father, your grandfather, 2 days just to cultivate 4 acres, but he could do it 1 hour in 1 hour sitting down. Just the difference is uncanny, right? So, does anybody have any thoughts on the video? Anything that he said that stuck out to you? Please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, he said a lot of gems. So hope you all took some and wrote some down. um, okay, thank you, Anne. How are you?
I'm okay. I just love history anyhow. I'm a history buff. And that was one of my minor studies in
Mm-hmm.
school. And it's you said something earlier that is true, that if you don't learn from history, it's going to repeat itself. And we're in a world right now where history is about to repeat itself. And I'm hoping that God is going to step in and change some history. But I think we're in for a rough year. I appreciated learning about how the older things were written down, and even in Egypt they were hieroglyphics. I think I said
Mm-hmm.
that right.
Mm-hmm.
On the walls in certain places, that with pictures that told a story of life and what was going on in the wars that happened in Egypt, and all the things that can and go back to the time when before Christ. So it's interesting, and I agree with a lot of the things he said, and took them to heart. So thank you for sharing again.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you so much for sharing, and I really appreciate that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And just I understand what you were saying about the it being a rough year. You can think of it like that, Anne. And in some ways it may be, but every year comes different challenges. So, my piece of advice is to just focus on the positive, and there are just some things that you cannot change in a way, and that's okay because it's not one person's job to change the world. So just focus on the things that make you happy and the things that are going on in your community that are improving. And I know that it won't seem as bad, but with good there's always going to be some bad in a way. So just taking it one day at a time, but you got this. So I appreciate you sharing. um I also did have a quote that I did share with our book experience this week that I think applies, because March is also National Reading Month, and reading books and articles and things of that nature can allow you to learn history. And I'm going to share it with you all and just, let you think about it for a second. But Eric Christian Ogard, a Danish writer, he said, "I cannot imagine life without literature, without books. The fate of the human being is to be born mortal with a knowledge of eternity. Lost in such a void of time, our own measured years are not long. But because we have literature, art, and music, our great past can become the present. We can span the gaps of generations and establish an intimate relationship with someone dead for hundreds of years. The life of the human being is a lonely life, but the lives of those who have denied themselves a knowledge of our common culture are undoubtedly lonely." So, our great past can become the present. Didn't the historians say the past is not dead? It's, not even the past. So it's so funny that someone in the 1900s said kind of the same thing that this guy in this video said. So, you know, it's a lot to think about, a lot of perspective, but, I hope the video and this quote can, definitely show you why studying history is important. And thank you for letting me share. So next up, we're just going to go into our apps. We're at the 30-minute mark. Perfect. Thank you so much. Really love your participation, everyone. We'll be covering our apps today. Again, the history of everything, Today in History Light Edition, and History, Quiz Game, and Trivia. So let's go on ahead. First up is the history of everything, and which is a vertical timeline that allows you to navigate, explore, and compare events from the Big Bang to the birth of the internet. Events are beautifully illustrated and animated. If you want to download the app, as usual, you're going to go to the App Store, okay? And then you can hit the search bar or search button at the bottom right, and then you'll be able to type in the name or type of app that you would like to download. So the history of everything. Okay, so that's if you want to download this app, you're going to have to type it in and then hit go or enter to then enter in the result. And looky here, it's right here at the top right, the history of everything. And you're going to go ahead and get the app and download it and open it, okay? And once you do, this is what your app will look like. So again, it's very simple to navigate. There's a search bar. So, you can search for different events and different things, as you can see, but they have some suggestions, right? But if you want to go history by history, look, the birth of the universe, life on Earth, common era. You see at the bottom, it says your favorite. So if you favorite an article, you can view it here, right? So I haven't favorited anything yet. I can share this app if I want to by hitting share. But just to go back real quick, in the App Store, if you notice at the right-hand side, you see this square with this arrow, right? You can also share an app with others through mail, iMessage, etc., using that button too. So that goes for any app. So I just wanted to showcase that. And then look, the about. So the history of everything is basically giving the about the app. So let's go into birth of the universe. And look at that, you have the Big Bang, the birth of the sun, Earth is born, and heavy bombardment. So let's do Earth is born. Let's see what it says. So Earth is born, and look at that. When I tap on it, it takes me to this illustration. And if I tap on any picture or word, like if I go up here, look at that, I can even see the timeline. So it's on the left, it is quite small, right? But look at that, 4.6 billion years ago. And then if you look, Earth is born 4.5 billion years ago. And if I tap on it again, on the right-hand side, you all should see a heart. So I can favorite this for later if I want to. But look, Earth and the other planets formed about 4.6 billion years ago. They were made of leftover gas from the nebula that made the sun. The moon may have been formed after a collision between the early Earth and a smaller planet, sometimes called Theia. Scientists believe that parts of both planets broke off, becoming, by gravity, the moon. And such, right? That's just so interesting to learn. It feels like I'm back in school, right? And I just remember learning about it, and then, but just having the understanding and the knowledge now, it just really helps me understand what I'm reading. So I hope you all feel the same as well. I keep going, timeline, not much is going on. Well, bam, look, we get to heavy bombardment. What is that? The late heavy bombardment, abbreviated LHB and also known as the lunar cataclysm, and it's so cool they have the little image, right? Is an event thought to have occurred approximately 4.1 to 3.8 billion years ago, at a time corresponding to the Neo-Hadean and Archean eras on Earth. During this interval, a disproportionately large number of asteroids are theorized to have collided with the early terrestrial planets in the inner solar system, including Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars. The late heavy bombardment happened after the Earth and other rocky planets had formed and accreted most of their mass, but still quite early in Earth's history. I've never heard of the late heavy bombardment before. Did you? So if I go back, let's go to life on Earth, and let's go to animals. I love learning about animals, especially fish. And look at these animations, you all. Like, that is just, amazing, right? So let's go to fish, right? And let me tap on fish. So fish, the evolution of fish began about 530 million years ago during the Cambrian explosion. It was during this time that the early chordates developed the skull and vertebral column, leading to the first craniatus and vertebrates. The first fish lineages belong to the Agnatha or jawless fish. Early examples include, have mercy, that name. Yeah, but again, just looking through this information, that's so cool. If you want to learn about how the mammals or the dinosaur age or reptiles, right? Reptile comes from Latin. It means one who creeps. That's hilarious, right? The study of living reptiles is called herpetology. Wow. Let's go to Common Era. So the Crusades, Newton's theory of gravity, Marie Curie. So let's do Marie Curie. I learned about her quite a bit in my AP chemistry classes and, in science in general. She's responsible for being a physicist, chemist, and feminist. She did research on radioactivity. The first woman to win a Nobel Prize. She was the first woman professor at the University of Paris. She was the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes. And she received a Nobel Prize in physics for her research on uncontrolled radiation, which was discovered by Henry Becquerel. So she definitely left her face on, modern physics and chemistry and just, all the challenges. If you just do a little more research on her, the challenges, that she had faced in getting to the research and just being able to, teach and just, do the field that was traditionally a men's field. And yes, it did kill her. The radioactivity, they didn't know about the safety practices and all that stuff back then. So yes, her work did end up, making her pass her away. But I'm glad that because of the people before us were able to do things now that we were, could never have been imaginable or done. So again, looking at our history also allows us to appreciate the things that we have now due to the, the sufferings and the challenges and the things that people have to, get through back in the day, especially marginalized groups as well. So it's so cool. Again, you can look at history just by swiping and seeing. So, the last one I'll cover is the World Wide Web. So, the internet is the biggest worldwide communication network of computers. Internet has millions of smaller domestic, academic, business, and government networks, which carry many different kinds of information. Sometimes people call it the net. It is used by a few billion people all over the world. So one of the few things that are in fact used by billions of people. The internet was developed in the United States by the United States Advanced Research Projects Agency. Internet was first connected in October '69 and was called the ARPANET. And don't we learn about the ARPANET in Module 3? How funny it is to go full circle, right? The World Wide Web was created at CERN in Switzerland in 1990 by a British UK scientist named Tim Berners-Lee. Wow. I'm going to favorite that one because that one was cool. But again, it's, quite a small app, but with lots of information. It's real easy to access. And there's even a search bar and a favorite section where you can look at your favorites again and just, learn more. So I hope you all enjoy the history of everything. And I certainly enjoyed learning more about different parts of history today. Herpetology. or herpetology, however you want to say it, the study of reptiles. Who knew, right? Our next app that we'll be covering today is Today in History Light Edition, Top Historical Events Daily. Today in History is the best way to get the key facts about iconic global events and fun facts from across the centuries, delivered right to your device. Their reminders will make sure you're never out of the loop. And some top features include quote of the day, images, and headlines. So if, just like before, you're gonna go to the App Store and hit the search button at the bottom. You can, at this point, even hit it again and again, and you see it erased it and pulled it back up from you just by hitting the search button just a couple of times. So Today in History is the next app we'll be covering. And you see it even pops up here, so I can just tap on Today in History Light Edition. And it's right here at the top right. Well, it's actually the only app. The other one is an ad for an app. But here, Today in History Light Edition. So you're gonna get it, download it, and see what if you like it. So you can read more about the app right here, etc. But we're gonna go ahead and open it and see what it has to offer. So look, this is what comes up when you first open the app. We bring you the most important, epic, and memorable moments in history. Expand your knowledge of the world around you with our daily updates. You can get daily notifications. And look, I can even set up reminders. So I want to receive, let's do one historical reminder between the hours of 10. That's cool. And it will be sent daily. So every day I'm going to get a notification with a new fun fact or whatever, right? So I'm going to hit confirm and continue. And look, I would like you to send notifications. Sure, I'm going to hit allow. And it says with the Today in History account, you can keep up to date with the latest events, share and store your favorites. So yeah, it's really easy to sign up with your Apple ID. So I'll hit sign in with Apple. And then I'm going to sign in. And there you go. You see, I didn't have to create an account or anything of that nature. So look, it says, welcome to Today in History. And it gives you even a little tutorial, right? View headlines from any date. So you just tap on that area. You can click on this headline to find out more. At the bottom, you'll see the event section. Check out all of the major events that happened on this day. Births, see everyone that was born today. Also deaths as well. And you can look at different categories related to a specific topic or person. You can search different events by keywords of your choice. So you can search any event in this app and it will probably come up at some point. Click here to see the classic style, view your favorites, settings. Wow, so that's amazing, right? So with just this app, you get all of these different methods of information. So look at the quote of the day. What is this? It says, nothing else can quite substitute for a few well-chosen, well-timed, sincere words of praise. They're absolutely free and worth a fortune. This is very true. I'm not sure who Sam Walton is, but if I probably search his name up there, I will probably find out. What does this say? Recommended reading. What comes up? Wow. So they give some recommended readings on history, which I think is from Amazon, which I think is neat. But like if I hit the search, if I type in Sam Walton and then I hit search, let me see what comes up. There you go. So that's why he was born today. That's why he's the quote of the day. He was an American businessman and he founded Walmart and Sam's Club. I never knew his name, so I didn't know that. Sam Walton is the man who founded Walmart and Sam's Club. Pretty young fella, right? So wow, that's just interesting to know, right? You see, I can even you see when I tap on Sam Walton, it says favorites. So I can favorite this if I want, and I can even share. So if I share, and then I hit mail, American businessman, wow, that's cool. And it goes to the website and it has this picture. That's pretty neat. But yeah, you can use the search feature. I saw your chats, everyone. That's really cool. You can sort your historical events by year in descending and ascending order. And don't forget, you can click on these different options on the right to find out more. Looking for a specific year, you can go to it directly, which I think is neat. So what happened today in history? So let's go. The Ottoman Empire under Murad II captures the Byzantine city of Thessalonica. Uh, the city of Salvador de Bahia, the first capital of Brazil, is founded March 29th, 1549. Wow. Treaty of Saint Germain is signed, returning Quebec to French control after the English had seized it in 1629. Wow. Let's see, this is the 1900s. The New York, Ontario, and Western Railway makes its final run, the first major US railroad to be abandoned in its entirety. This happened in 57. Look at this. Isn't this interesting? The 23rd Amendment to the United States Constitution is ratified, allowing residents of Washington, D.C. to vote in presidential elections. March 29th, 1961. Isn't that cool? We're learning so much just from today, right? Wow. 35 countries and over 370 cities join Earth Hour for the first time. Not sure what that is. And again, if you tap and look at the top right, I can choose any date that I want. So let's do yesterday. What happened yesterday, right? In history. Look at that. Lots of different information, right? If I go down here, Roman in 37 AD, Roman Emperor Caligula accepts the titles of Principate entitled to him by the Senate. 37 AD. Isn't that amazing that we know the date and year of something from like forever ago, like thousands of years ago? Like, that's amazing. If I tap on an event, look what happens, right? So let's go back to March 29th, right? And let's go back to the one about DC, because that one was pretty cool. Let's see, where is DC? Where's DC? 71. Here you go. If I tap on this event right here, look what comes up. I know it's covered up a little bit, right? But you notice there are 3 boxes. One says President of the United States, one says Washington, DC, and one says the 23rd Amendment. So look, if I tap on that little box, look, I can learn more about this event. So look, this is the 23rd Amendment. And if I tap on it, it takes me straight to Wikipedia's page on it. And look at this wealth of information. So it's just quite amazing. I can hit this little back button. And that's just events, right? Look, births. Who was born today? Fabio Borini. 19 S. I think I've heard of Jesus Molina before. Wow, these are all the folks that were born today on March 29th. All different people. That's amazing. Deaths who unfortunately passed away today. Calvin Lockhart. Johnny Cochran. I've heard of him. Let's see. John Lewis, American jazz pianist. Wow. Terry Moore, baseball player. He passed away today. Ted Kluszewski. Have mercy. This is a lot of great information, right? I mean, just to look through, again, I can change the date. So if I want to go to February 29th, who passed away or was born on February 29th? Adam Sinclair. I don't think I've heard of that one before, but Ja Rule was born on February 29th. Dave Williams. Oh, I've heard of him. He was born on February 29th. But yeah, it's just Lots of great information, and then I'll do holidays. So today is Youth Day in Taiwan, Christian Feast Day. Youth Day, Republic of China. Wow. Let's see what holidays it was yesterday. Serfs Emancipation Day in China, Teachers Day in the Czech Republic. Wow. And really, really interesting to look through. And it's the settings, you can change like the size, you can make it smaller, like 100%, or you can make it bigger, 150%. Wow, so just with this one app, you can get a lot of history for just by scrolling just a few buttons and options. So I hope you all enjoyed again. Today in History, Light Edition. Our last app for today is a quiz game and trivia history, world history learning app. And with hundreds of challenging trivia questions and answers, all the world history will be covered from prehistory to 21st century. Channel your inner history genius, join other players and have fun while learning facts about the history of the world. So just like before, you're gonna go to the App Store and hit your search button. I hit it 3 times to go back to the screen. All I have to do, which is really easy. So again, it's this app, it's kind of finicky. You have to enter it in the way that it's written. So history, quiz game, and trivia. So there it pops up at the top. And this app, you're gonna have to scroll down a little bit, okay? Just a few, but it's right here on the left-hand side. It says history, quiz game, and trivia. So you're gonna, download it, open it, etc. And we'll go ahead and see if we know some history, okay? So let's open it and see what it has to offer. So world of quiz. I'm gonna turn off the music and settings, okay? Which is that gear icon right here. But look, if you notice, there's a shop because you have in-game coins. So they start you off with 100 coins, and you can shop for, well, right here, this is actual money purchases. Or if you watch an ad, you get some free coins. But I'm assuming you'll use these coins in the trivia game as hints or something. So let me hit play. And look at that, you can choose your categories. So if you want to learn about prehistory or ancient history or the Middle Ages or modern history, you can pick one of these. So let's start off with some modern history. And look, they have different levels. So some that are easy, and as you go, they get a little more difficult. So let's see if we can tackle level 1 together. And of course, you can also unmute yourself if you would like to participate and assist with this game. So let's see, level 1. Okay, on July 20th, 69, where did Apollo 11 land?
The moon.
The moon, right? Yeah, green, good job.
The moon, yay!
Martin Luther King delivered as famous, okay, I have a
Dream.
Yeah. Next question. In 2016, a majority of the UK electorate voted to leave the EU. True or false?
True.
Correct. Good job. Tanks were used in World War I and World War II. True or false?
True.
True.
False.
True.
Let's do, I heard a combination. Let's do true and let's see if that works. It's true. They were using both. The global economic downturn of the 30s was known as
The Great Depression.
Good. 5 out of 10. Whom did Donald Trump defeat to become the US president?
Hillary Clinton.
So,
you
like,
need to have this app
this is an ad, so this is a free app. So I'm gonna have to wait for the skip video or the X. Hit the X again, and there you go. What was the Cold War?
Geopolitical tension between the USA and Russia.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Good job. That was so fast. The independence movement of which nation was led by Gandhi?
India.
Mm-hmm. Good. Benito Mussolini was prime minister of Spain during the 20th century.
True.
Oh,
That was the
this is
1900s.
False.
Benito
That's false.
Mussolini. That's false.
It was Italy.
That's oh, good. It was false. Good job. Considered a cultural icon, Elvis became known as the king of rock and roll.
True.
Well, that depends.
But false.
I think when we did this last time, someone said that too, which is hilarious. But as you can see, this ad, I have to wait for it to run a little bit, but I'm going to wait for the X to come up on the left or the right. And there you go. Here's the X. The App Store pulls up. That's okay. I hit done at the top left, and then I hit X again. And there we go. We finished the round. And we got a 10 out of 10. So good job, you all. Let's claim our coins. claim. And look,
Right.
level summary. So they actually show you the summary of your answers. So that is everything that we had said was right. So thank you so much. And so we got a reward. I hit claim reward. And I can either claim it or watch an ad and get 2 times, but I'm gonna just claim it regularly. And there you go, that's modern history. So let's now do, let's do Middle Ages, because that's just the next one up. So let's see if we can get the Middle Ages together. Medieval knights were expected to be brave and noble.
True.
True.
I would say true. I mean,
True.
duh, right? A dungeon was a chamber, sometimes underneath a castle, where prisoners were held.
True.
Mm-hmm. Next question. In 1040 AD, Macbeth became king of which country?
Oh God, I can't remember.
Scotland.
Uh, Germany, Scotland.
I'm gonna look at Germany. No, yeah.
Scotland.
And Snow Italy.
Scotland.
Scotland.
Okay, I'm hearing a lot of Scotland's, and that was correct. Good job.
No.
In 1431 AD, Joan of Arc was famously accused of being a
Which?
witch. Good,
Okay.
good job. That was right. So again, same thing, you all. Again, it's a free app, so you just gotta wait for the ad. Sometimes immediately you can get rid of it, or you can just wait. You see this little yellow bar at the bottom. So as soon as that bar is up, which is now, I'm gonna hit the X, hit the done, and hit the X again. Next question. Religion was a major source of conflict during the Middle Ages.
True.
True.
True, it was. The early Middle Ages were sometimes known as the Light Ages.
I don't know about that.
True. I'm gonna say true.
That's
These-
false.
I'm confused. I think I
Okay,
Is it
I've
true?
never heard of Light Ages, so I
Ages.
think
I
let's
haven't
do
either.
false.
I think we in the
That's correct. Good job. That was, I'd never heard of the Light Ages, so that was good. Which famous document was signed in 1215 AD?
Magna
Oh,
Carta.
Carter.
Magna Carta. Oh, yeah, I know that's right. I would have, oh, I would have guessed on that one. Good job. Who is famous for being one of the first Europeans to travel to Asia during the Middle
Marco
Ages?
Polo.
Marco Polo.
Okay, I think I knew that one. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're going where I think we're 8 for 10. So let's see if we can get these last few, and we'll be 20 for 20. I know that's right, y'all. So again, same thing. This ad, it's just taking a couple seconds or so. Then I hit the X, hit the done, and then I hit the X. So let's do, what was the Black Death, which killed more than 50 million people in the
Bubonic
1300s?
The bubonic plague.
Bubonic plague. Okay. What is this medieval warrior is known as?
A knight.
Knights.
Actually hit a water when you throw stuff down in there.
Knight finish
So
round.
we got them all. We so
Look
smart.
Yeah.
I know that's right, you all. So I'm claiming this. And again, our summary. So again, all of our answers were right. So good job. Let's claim our reward. And yeah, do I like this game? Yes. I'll do it later. So it's okay. One more. Let's do some ancient history.
Oh,
and
ancient.
then let's see if we could go 3 for 3. Okay.
I don't know about that.
Okay, Tutankhamun was the
Egypt.
first pharaoh to rule ancient
No,
Egypt.
no, false.
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 False?
Yeah.
False.
Correct. Good job. The ancient Egyptians, oh, we all know what these are.
Pyramids.
Pyramids. So again, another advertisement, but that's okay. Because again, we're learning so much we're literally taking a view in history. So we're learning so much today. So we're almost done with the ad. So again, at the bottom, you see a little bar. So now the X done. And again, it might change depending on what app or game you're in. So just keep those tips in mind. Which of these board games played by the ancient Egyptians? We learned this in our games.
We
training.
sure did.
Senate.
Senate, right? We literally learned this in our
We
session.
sure did.
So
We
isn't
learned this
that was amazing.
recently. That's
Nicknamed the Scourge of God, the warlord and leader Attila was also known as
It was a Hun.
Hun. Attila the Hun. I never knew why or the nickname, so that's so interesting. The crucifixion of Jesus is believed to have taken place around 30 BC. True or false?
False.
False.
False? That was correct. Good job. With which Egyptian ruler did the Roman general Mark Antony have a romantic relationship?
Cleopatra.
Cleopatra.
Good
Cleopatra.
job. Good. 5. This timer at the top, it even gives you a time, so it's a little different. Skip video. I'm gonna hit the X. Come on, we're 6 for 10. We got 4 more to go, you all. Good job. Ancient Rome was built in a single day.
No.
No, false.
No
False.
way.
What? Ancient Rome was built in a single day. False.
False.
That's correct. The ancient Egyptians were the only ancient culture to construct pyramid structures.
False.
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 I don't think they were the only ones, so let's do false. That's correct.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
job.
Okay.
The Chinese philosopher Confucius is associated with an early expression of which famous rule?
The golden rule.
Golden rule.
The golden rule. Mhm. One more, you all. Let's
One more.
go. Come on, you guys. What were the ancient rulers of Egypt known as?
Pharaohs.
Pharaohs.
Arrows.
Oh, we got it, you all. 10
Yay!
for 10.
We got it. We got them
Oh
all.
my goodness. So we got 10 for 10 finish round, and we got our coins, you all. So I know
We're
that's
about to
right.
be college professors.
Uh-huh.
And wasn't that so easy, you all? That was
Yeah.
That was
great.
so interesting. That was good.
And that was just level 1, you all. I mean, imagine what the other levels can share. So I hope
Yeah.
you all take advantage of this app, and that was certainly a lot of fun
That
with
was
you
a lot
all.
of-
So I appreciate it so much, you all. And at this time, we're going to have our overview and discussion. And again, I hope you all really enjoyed today's session on apps for history. So give me 1 second. But if you just wanted to share your thoughts on today's session, please raise your hand in Zoom, okay? Any thoughts on today's session? Maybe a new fact that you learned, or which of the apps that you're really interested in checking out on your own, things of that nature. Please raise your hand in Zoom, and we would love to hear from you. As I know your comments and your questions really does help out others. So thank you all so much for participating. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Thank you. And for your patience, everyone. And I hope you really enjoyed our session on history. And again, if you would like to share any thoughts or comments, please raise your hand in Zoom. But really quick, because it just dawned on me, if I go to the App Store and I hit search and I type in women's history, I just type that in. Look at the history extra, history quiz. Some of these are really interesting. So it's Women's History Month trivia. That would be a great app to check out. So I hope you all, just check out and explore your app store, and there's literally an app for everything. So please make sure, you check it out, because there's a world to explore straight from your iPad. So thank you all so much. Again, we'll be having our overview and discussion. So what is one new fact that you learned today? What app or apps are you interested in trying out and why? What is your favorite history topic, or what time periods are you curious in learning more about? And how do you think learning history has a positive impact on our daily lives? So we have 2 hands so far. Thank you for sharing. First up is Maddie. Hey, Maddie, how are you? Thanks
Good
for
morning, Alex.
participating.
How are you?
Good, good. I had a lot of fun, so I can't complain.
I did also. I liked that last app. I really did. You know, but now I'm going back to the one of the questions, and one it says the king of pop was Elvis Presley.
I know, Miss. I know, Maddie. I know.
That can be disputed, and it maybe not actually a true historical statement. But when you're in school or when you're learning, if you don't choose what they say you need to choose, then you will be considered wrong.
Oh, but that's okay, because again,
No,
everyone.
but I'm just saying, because some things that are not true that they consider true, then if you if you know it for a fact that it's not true, but if you put down something different, you're going to be wrong. If it's a test, you're going to be marked incorrect, which going to affect your score.
Oh, well, in some ways, definitely, Miss Maddie, but it's it's all in perspective. So,
Absolutely.
The last app with the quiz and just learning about different time periods, I think it's very useful in just exploring our world in our history, right?
I understand what you're saying, but it's like sometimes we have to realize that history is written by those that are in his story.
So yes, that is well, Miss Maddie.
A lot of times they're not correct. It's not an accurate, it's not accurate.
But, and that's why you do your own research and you look at different points of view and perspectives, because again, there is a traditional way that history was told, but us and how society has changed has definitely changed that point of view, and we now know more than we probably have known before.
Absolutely, and that's where I was going. Thank you, Alex.
No problem, Miss Maddie. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and
I really did.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna lower my hand
now. Next up is Anne. How are you?
Well, I won't expound on where I was going with Maddie said it all, but I'm just interested in the apps, and I have downloaded all 3 of them, and I really enjoyed the history timeline, learning about different periods, and like I said, I'm a history buff, and I really enjoy that. And I think learning about history gives you knowledge that you can keep and pass on. And I think the more you know about how things started and where they have gotten to today is like a timeline, and it shows you how things have changed from like the 50s to today.
Yeah,
certainly. We've got people going to the moon. We've got all of this technology that we're learning on. We've had impactful people, people that I admire. I don't know if anybody else does, but I admired the Kennedys. I admired John Kennedy. I admired Robert for his civil rights things. I definitely was an admirer of John Lewis and Martin Luther King, Dr. King. So you've learned a lot of things that have been taught to us or things that we can learn to do. The women's movement. We have more women involved in big time stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're
Definitely.
ahead of we're ahead of 50s. You couldn't get anything unless your husband signed for it.
Yeah, it's so amazing what has, happened, especially, with everything advancing. But it's really a blessing that we're able to just use our devices and to look up and research and look at the mistakes and struggles that others faced, and allows us to be more appreciative and understanding of where things came from. And that's what's, I think very fulfilling in our lives, to know and appreciate what came before us, right?
Right, and the medical advancements that have happened in this generation.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All
We,
because of looking at
we're on
history.
the verge of maybe having a cure for cancer. That would be absolutely just wonderful.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
and
definitely.
they're making strides in Alzheimer's and learning that Alzheimer's is really not. It can be brought on by diabetes and other things they're finding about.
Hmm.
So it's just just I just look at stuff that's just in my time, my 70 years of being on earth, that I've been learning, and the things I look back and I say, gee, did I really witness that? You know, we went
Oh,
from a house
certainly.
telephone to a cell phone, and we went from a great big clunky thing that was big as your room almost, that was called a computer, and now you're holding one in your hand.
Oh, it's just and again, every day makes you think, and we don't know everything yet, but we do know a lot more than
Than we
our
did
past
before.
people. So it's only in our right and our own interest to learn more about those that came before us, to help others in the future, and ourselves as well. So just by you learning your history, and all of us for learning our history today, it may have made us think about a few things, and definitely put things into perspective, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And thank you.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate your thoughts, and definitely agree with everything you said. I really appreciate that.
Oh, well, I appreciate you letting me talk. So
No problem, man. You have a great rest of your day.
you too.
Hmm. Just really quick, if you have any other hands, would love to hear. But looking through the chat, biblical history, yeah, definitely. Miss Evans, thank you. Mr. Harold, appreciate your comments as always. I'm hope you learned something new, even though you definitely know your history as well, Mr. Harold. So I hope you find some new tidbits of info. Thank you, Miss Evans. Appreciate that. See your thumbs up. Good stuff. Andre the Giant, the wrestler. Probably taught the dangers of radiation. Yeah. So just like looking looking at history is so important, just to get a different point of view, and to get to learn more. When knowledge is power, right? So just by you learning more about your history, you feel more confident and more in tune with yourself. So thank you all so much for coming on to today's advanced training. We have our trip to Papua New Guinea at 12 o'clock today, so please make sure you come on for that. And then we'll be ending our day at 1:30 with Module 6, all about Zoom backgrounds and what you can do when you're in a Zoom meeting. It's always a pleasure to present for you all, and I look forward to seeing you all for advanced training on Monday at 10 a.m. So every Monday and Friday at 10 a.m. we have an advanced training where we go into specific iPad settings or functions, or some new apps for you all to take advantage of. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all at 12 o'clock. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks,
Thank
Alex.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Alice.
It was
I'll
very
see you in the morning.
interesting.
Thank you.
Very
Thank
interesting.
you. Have a great morning, you all. See you at
You
lunchtime.
too.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Have a
Alex.
blessed day, everyone.
No
Thank you.
problem. Have a good day, everybody.
You too.
It was so much fun.
See you in a little bit.
Yes,
Mhm.
bye history buffs. I know y'all got that
Bye.
30 for 30, everyone. 30 for 30.
Yeah,
I know that's
30.
Hey,
Yay.
right. Have a good day. See you all soon.
you too. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
You
All
too.
right.
Mhm.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.